Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. I am joined by the victorious Dominate, coming out so strong now, 12-5. You guys are tied for first place. What is the intensity that you guys have been bringing into these last few weeks? Has anything changed for the team, or are you just looking for that first place?
We've started preparing for playoffs starting this week. So we started preparing multiple team comps that we're not going to necessarily show in these last couple games, but we're starting to practice towards playoffs and round out champion pools that are solid so that we have multiple different strategies that we can bring out in best of fives and stuff like that. So I guess the luxury of being towards the top of the standings is you're able to, go for that playoff practice during the season, where normally you kind of have to, the position we're normally in is we're barely getting into the playoffs, so we have to give it our all, and then they know what we're going to play when we get to playoffs. So I think that our practice has been going pretty well, and we've been pretty focused about practice, and I think that that's what we're going to use going forward into playoffs.
And how do you guys feel? How does Liquid feel they're going to fare in that best-of-5 matchup? We did see a few back and forth in this game today that you guys kind of struggled to keep continuing to get the lead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this game was particularly slow for us. We had a comp that really outscaled, so we knew we won late game, and we didn't really go for any risky plays. I barely ganked. I pretty much just tried to follow Porpoise around, put wards down, and the really oppressive thing about Nidalee is she can just walk in your jungle, and no jungler can 1v1 her. Yeah. So we kind of just used the advantages that we had, and we didn't really have to make any big plays to win the game. But I definitely want to clean up some of the small things. We didn't necessarily play this exact comp before, so we didn't know how to necessarily 4v4 around the dragon without a tank there and stuff like that. So I think we just have to clean that up and just practice a little bit harder, and then we'll be able to play this comp just like any other.
Awesome. Dominate, final question. You guys are playing a Wounded Impulse tomorrow. What are you thinking about that team, Gate and specific in the mid lane? What are your thoughts?
Gate's actually been impressing me a lot in solo queue recently, so I think that he'll probably show up pretty big. I always viewed him more as a LAN type player. When he gets on the stage, I feel like he plays well. On Final 5, he was the real carry point of that team. So I don't think it will be a huge downgrade. I don't think they're just dropping to somebody who can't stack up. I predict that he'll play well, and the team will kind of feel the same. So it's really going to be up to us to play a really solid game and play cleaner than we did today.
All right, Dominate, thanks for the time. Congratulations on the win. Best of luck in your matchup tomorrow. Now we're going to throw it to the analyst desk to break that down some more.
Thank you, Riv. And gentlemen, I kind of want to look at this game and how it affects both of these teams moving forward into the playoffs, into relegation, things like that. Team 8, with that loss, kind of keeps the hopes for C9 alive in terms of having a tiebreaker for that 7th place, given the fact that C9 plays TDK later today. Now, with this game, though, Team 8, they got behind pretty decently early, and that's got to be a worry against a Cloud9 team that has had some very fast games.
The 2 fastest games all split, actually, when they get an early lead. So that's very scary. That tower dive that they pulled off 4 versus 1 and were unable to execute on definitely set them really far behind. And as Dominate said, they had the outscaling comp. So if you get the lead that early, all you have to do is sit on it. They outfarmed in almost every single lane. And like you said, it was a pretty slow and easy game for them to execute. And then the way that it ended as well, there are some scary things for Team 8 here. The timing on that Baron, they started it a bit late. And then, obviously, it did not go well after Quas teleported in.
There's also some scary things for Team Liquid, because they played to their win condition, and then at the very end, they got caught out, and they took a fight where if they were actually even in gold, it wouldn't have gone their way, even if a little gap closed in terms of gold.
Piglet also got killed in the 2 versus 2, especially when Piglet lost that heads up, so that's another thing to worry about a little bit.
Good to see Dominate recognize some of those things and saying that, overall, we have a solid strategy. We're even working on new strategies. It's cleaning up those mechanical mistakes, those positioning, the choice to make a team fight where they maybe shouldn't have. So cleaning up their game is going to be a big thing for them. But with that win, they're only a half game back from Gravity, which puts them in a pretty great position when they're looking towards that first round bye.
And when I'm looking at Team Liquid in the past, every time they made playoffs, they got reverse swept, right? But who are they reverse swept by? It's usually Cloud9. Cloud9's not going to be in the playoffs. So who's going to stop Team Liquid from going into the finals and coming up if they do get that first round bye? Even if they don't, this is a Team Liquid that's having more time to focus on champion pools, round them out, prepare for the best of 5s, instead of preparing for getting into playoffs.
It's not going to be Xiao again. He's not playing anymore.
Well, that's the thing. They have to be confident going into tomorrow against an Impulse roster that is being swapped around and hasn't had much practice time. All right, well, we'll see if they can do that. Up next, we've got Team Dignitas taking on CLG. Keep it tuned right here. The North American LCS continues after this.
It is a battle for playoff seeding and a battle to keep yourself in the LCS here. Team 8 is up against Team Liquid. But here comes Calitrols as well. Dodo, one hit from Dead, forced to walk away in the end. Still on the run, the flash ulti! Oh, man! And here comes the rest of that fight. 5v4 still. Nian has nowhere to go. Kill picked up. And the dive on in, a kill for Dominate as well. Dodo's nearly dead. Porpoise about to get chunked down also. Quas is way too tanky to go down, and the reinforcements have arrived. Janice here. Ironically, the most deaths in the game, but Super Tank Quas had an absolutely amazing game for himself.